I'm Obi, that said, and we are drinking from the garden hose, your favorite Gen X podcast about nothing. You can guess wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Google, Apple. We're there. We're excited to be here. Last week, Ed came out hot about a dog. Now, my parents got a dog. Maybe we'll talk about that. But Ed thinks he's coming out hot again. So let's see what Ed's got for us. Ed, what's up?
Hey, Obi, how's it hanging, as they say back in the 80s, I guess. So here's the thing. And I shared this with some coworkers, and they laughed at me. They thought I was a crotchety old man, and I am. But last week, or maybe earlier this week, I lose track of it, the phenomenon of the Northern Lights, the Aurora Borealis, showed up throughout the Northeast, and I think it even went down to parts of the South, but it was all over social media, and I didn't know it was happening. I was on social media. I saw all these pictures posted, and so I ran outside, said, "Holy shit, I'm going to be able to see the Northern Lights." I go outside, and my sky was pitch black. I saw nothing. And so I made the comment today, and I'm going to make it on this podcast. I actually think all those people posting pictures of the Northern Lights on their social media are the most obnoxious people that I know. Because, okay, apparently they happened, but what are you, just rubbing it in? Why you got to keep posting it? So that's my statement of the day. The people who incessantly posted everywhere, most obnoxious people of the week.
So my first response to that is I did not get to see them. I was in Philadelphia, and when I drove home from Philadelphia, still didn't get to see them. I saw all those pictures, and then a couple of days later, somebody posted a shot from I don't know the actual name of the song, but you'll recognize it from this line. Look at this photograph. And they said, everybody on my social media feeds, and it's got from the video, look at this photograph. It's a picture of them. I thank the person for posting that. So like you, I missed them. I was on Thursday night. I was at Kendo. Half the group went to someplace with less light pollution to see the Northern Lights. And the other half with my side, we went to enjoy the Philadelphia Chinatown Chinese festival. So that's what I did. I have seen the Northern Lights, though, in the Philadelphia area on a day that they were not expected, that everyone wasn't planning, and it wasn't as spectacular as the pictures as everybody else showed. But it was so special because it was shocking, and it was only a part of the light, and it was like, what is that? What is that? And then boom, that's got to be the Aurora Borealis. And then we looked up on the internet, hey, it was. So I've seen them. Not as spectacular as the purpleness of everybody's photograph, but I have seen them.
Well, so then it comes out, Obi, I don't know if you know this, but then it comes out that everyone posting those pictures didn't really see the Northern Lights either. That apparently they really only showed up when you took a picture of them. Did you hear this?
No. So when they looked through their phone, they could see them, but when they looked at the sky, they didn't see them.
Yes. So when I went outside to look and saw a black sky, if I took my phone out, I too would have had a picture like everybody else did to post on the internet. Now, I will say to you, see, now that you know the whole story, those pictures on the internet are complete bullshit, because if you can't see it with your naked eye, I say it doesn't count.
I would say, wow, I'm with you on this, Ed. If Ed is correct and you could only see it through your camera, I call shenanigans. You did not see it. You saw a picture of it, just like those amazing pictures when the people go to Greenland or Iceland and they go up there and that's what you saw. You saw a picture of it. You did not see it.
Right. The only difference between them and me is they took the picture that we both saw.
Correct. I agree with you, Ed.
But yes, they bragged. So anyway, that was me coming out hot today. People gave me crap about it at work today because they thought I was, old man yelling at the sky, at the Northern Lights.
The old man yelling at the Northern Lights.
And I am. But the fact of the matter is, if you can only see something through a camera, you're not really seeing it. That's all I'm saying.
So Ed, I got you back. I got your back. So I told you I had a couple of things to talk about today. you first came on, we had some communication issues, but you did comment I was wearing my New York Mets hat. You did notice that I was not in the same room. And then I was trying to point out to you that up there on my wall is my New York Mets light plate that I've had for decades because I thought you were just saying I was not a real fan, but now we're able to talk. So I am not a real fan. Um, I've always been a New York Met fan. I have never wavered in that New York Met fandom. But regular season baseball, I have wavered on. It's, I'm not going to get a special package so I can see my team. I don't live in the area. They are the Mets and they do this thing that they're doing now. They spike for a year, never even two in a row anymore. They come down, they suck for 4 or 5 years, then they come up and the playoffs start and I get out my gear and I'm happy with that. That's what I do. But this year was special. Mets are I'm watching on my phone in the wild card series. And Alex, my baby, comes downstairs. My baby, 18 years old, says to me, Dad, the Mets are winning. And I have been able to watch baseball with my son. We've been watching most of the games together. So that has been a special thing. Did not know he was a real Mets fan, but he is. We got him a matching hat to mine. We sit down, we watch the games together. He understands why I wear a Gary Carter jersey from 1986 throwback. So it's been great. Are you getting that with the Yankees and your Alex?
Yeah, my Alex is in there watching the Yankees right now. And when we're done recording this, I'll go watch it with her. And we watched it last night. So yeah, and then if Sam were home, we'd be watching the game together. So that is one of the great joys of being a sports fan is to be able to watch sports with your kids.
Yes. Oh yeah. And on game one of this NLCS, Alex spoke like a true sports fan watching the pitchers. Get this guy out of here. He can't throw a strike. I could throw a strike. I could throw 6 strikes in 15. He was great. It was like being at the game with a real drunk fan. He was sober and all, but he was in on it. It was exciting.
So the interesting thing that I have found is that it's I don't know if it's a sobering feeling. I don't know if it's just makes you feel old. I'm not really sure what the feeling is, but it's really interesting when your kids start spouting off stats about the players in the game you're watching, and you understand the stats, but you do not know those stats because you have more important things to have in your head. And then you remember back that when you were their age, you had all of those stats and your parents looked at you like you were an alien. So it's just really coming full circle. And we'll get in a little baseball nerd talk here, but we just had a conversation about the Gold Glove nominations that came out, me and Alex, and she was explaining to me why her favorite player, Volpe, should win the Gold Glove again because he has more chances, even though he has one more error, he has more chances, he played more innings, he's got a better fielding percentage, and therefore he should be the Gold Glove Award winner. And then so she's already done her research. I told her she should go on Twitter and start a campaign for Volpe because she might be the only one who believes he's actually better than the other candidates. But
hey,
be that as it may.
Be that. Listen, and good on her. I remember those conversations. Oh yeah, but so and so has more range to get to more balls. And oh no, he's got just so much of a stronger arm. They don't even run on him, so you can't see how strong. Like all those baseball conversations that were filled in your head.
Although I do think the kiss of death happened to the other person that was nominated against Volpe the other night with Bob Costas called that shortstop the best defensive shortstop in the game. Because if you know anything about sports and you're listening to this podcast, you know that Bob Costas was once the best baseball announcer. And boy, has time passed him by. The amount of mistakes he made and just the fake excitement. It was actually really sad to watch him. Now I don't know if you caught any of the games last week that he announced, but it was quite sad to watch and listen to him.
So to the extent that I listened, I didn't listen. Every time I was listening, it was Smoltz was on. So like that, and all I could think is, I hate this guy. I've always hated this guy. he's a good announcer. I hate this guy. I hate this guy. I've always hated this guy. He's a good announcer. That was what kept going through every time he spoke. So that's it. Now, the other thing you brought up is like you thought I changed rooms to watch the Mets game, but if you look over there, you can see that's still my globe, and up there is the
So
Darth
you
Vader.
perspective.
I changed perspective because I am changing rooms. So Sammy's getting further and further out of the house. We've moved him into his apartment that's going to last till June. In 2 more weeks, he takes everything that's home and moves it there, and I move upstairs into his room. His bed comes down here. So yes, we are flying along. Next time we record should be a completely different room with a completely different look. So
So
very
your
excited.
son, so your adult son, who now has graduated college, has a real job, and lives on his own, is actually letting you get rid of his bedroom?
His bed is going to come down into this room.
Yeah, but you're still taking it out of his bedroom,
Oh, yes.
and he's allowing that?
You know what happens when you have a job and an apartment and you pay your own rent? You don't get to say what happened to my house.
Well, that's so like 1990s of you, Obi. I'm not sure this is news to me. I didn't know that that happened in the 2020s. I thought these younger kids ruled the roost and got away with whatever they wanted.
Listen, I think he's getting a hell of a lot. The fact that we're building a guest room for him to sleep in. So, I feel like we're more like in the two early aughts here. That he still gets a guest room that's going to be built around him. And he's like, oh, and the whiskey's going to be in my room because I'm leaving the whiskey downstairs. So he's like, win-win. I'm going to come and drink all your whiskey and sleep in the guest room. So
So you might want to rethink where you keep your whiskey then.
I might, but I don't want to bring it upstairs.
It's too heavy. Maybe just drink more and it'll be lighter.
Yeah, bring that collection down. Bring that collection down. So those are the two things that I really had. Because I mean, again, all the communication you were blaming it on the room, and it turned out to be something else. But I do have one other thing to show you that came in the mail today. You won't be able to say.
Wait. Is it your AARP card?
Uh, you're half right. You're half right.
Okay.
It's a card.
Oh, Obi. So you got the digital business card. So I think I have to well, there's no backstory. If people actually listen to us, they know that I talked about the digital business card on our last episode. But what people don't know is that you really geeked out on this after I talked about it, because you then sent me a text wanting to know about this particular card because there are so many options. So you were clearly doing research about what was the best digital business card.
Yes, and the reason I chose the same one you chose in the end is it claims to offer free ability to change your information for life. All the other digital business cards are subscription fees. The card is free, but there's a subscription. This one you pay for the card, but you can change customize your back end for as long as it lives. Now, I have a feeling that these are the guys who are going to lose out because they're customer friendly. They're going to make no money. They're going to have the largest customer base, and then someone's going to buy them up, and then my subscription is going to cost money. But for what I need it for, Comic-Con this weekend, it will be up and running, and it will work for at least that long. So I'm excited.
So you're planning on sharing your information at Comic-Con?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. This is good.
Can you enlighten us a little bit on exactly what information you want the freaks at Comic-Con to know about you?
I'm glad you asked. I am going to put 3 things on there. I'm going to put my TikTok, which is growing, and we definitely need to work on getting this show onto my TikTok.
TikTok is growing. That's awesome.
TikTok is growing.
So when you say it's growing, what is that? Can you explain to our listeners exactly what that means?
Okay, all right. So I will go into the TikTok app, and someone might hear something for a moment, but you know what? I'll put my phone down. We're going to TikTok, and we will close this, and we'll look at the TikTok studio. So I have in the last 7 days, I have 4,000 plus views.
Okay.
And 170 likes. I have no new followers in the last 7 days, though. But Yeah, I've started getting followers and likes and stuff, and I have people who comment on my TikToks.
All
It
right, I'm over here giggling, but maybe you're right. Maybe your TikTok is growing. Okay. So you're
number
gonna and well, actually after Comic-Con, it's freaking probably gonna exponentially grow.
that's the goal. That's the goal. So I have that. I will be putting on gardenhose.vercel.app as the
Awesome.
website to go to. And I will be putting on the GoFundMe page for my martial arts for disadvantaged youths website. So those are the
Okay.
only three things I'm going to list there. Boom, give it to people. Uh, and we'll see what we can do about getting people connected. How are your Yankees doing?
Well, it's 2-0 right now. Judge is coming up with the bases loaded.
Oh,
So
okay.
so
So
based on past history, it's gonna stay 2-0.
yeah, yeah. Judge for all those baseball fans. Judge is turning out to be an A-Rod and not a Jeter. His game
Well,
goes down in the postseason as opposed to really bringing it up to max
yeah, we're
level.
really going down the sports rabbit hole here, but if you remember, A-Rod had one magical October and the
He
Yanks won the
did.
series that year. So it only takes one.
It does. It does. It does. And on that rabbit hole, baseball is such a uh, bizarre sport in terms of luck and bounces, even more so than well, mathematically for the real nerds, people know to really have the best of series and be sure you have the winner. I think you need something like 17 or 25 games to really know that the best team won, and baseball only does seven. So it really is a matter of luck.
So I'm going to pivot off of baseball for a second, but I'm going to
Thank
use it as a
goodness.
segue. I'm going to use it as a segue. So I have a friend who went to the Yankee game last night. That same friend texted me this morning. He's newly divorced, and he texted me this morning to tell me that this past weekend he went on a date with a woman who went to Rutgers University, majored in exercise science, sport management, and was in ROTC at Rutgers. And he said at the bottom, he goes, I felt like I was trying to get with you.
I thought he was going to ask if you knew her, and you were going to be like, as a matter of fact, I do remember her. Bad choice.
I thought that that's where that was going, but she's a couple years younger than me, so I wouldn't know her. But I
Okay.
just thought it was funny how he ended the text with, I felt like I was trying to get with you. And if you list those credentials, Rutgers, exercise science, and ROTC, I guess he was trying to get with the female version of me. Um, so anyway, I had to share that. I thought that was a funny story.
That is a funny story. Now listen, so your friend's probably about our age. I have a funny story. I don't understand these people who are our age and they're getting married for the first time.
For the first time.
First time. For the
That's
first time.
interesting, Obi.
Yeah.
Now, so what's your thought on that? I'll just say it's interesting. What's your thought on that?
Well, like, listen, if you've been together, so I'm gonna take out those people who've been together for, well, we're 50. If you've been together for 15 plus years and you just didn't pull the trigger on marriage, I'm going to presume you looked at the economics of it and said, "Ooh, marriage is the way to go." That's what I'm going to presume.
But you're just slow because it took you 15 years to look at the economics.
Yeah, yeah. But if it's been less than 5 years, I don't get it. I don't. I don't understand. Listen, I love my wife. If God forbid something were to happen to her, I would be single for until I'm in the grave. I can't. I can't imagine it.
Well, but you're going a step further. You're not even talking about people who like second and third marriages. Like
Yeah,
you're not even ranting against them. What you're saying is you don't understand the person who meets somebody when they're 47 years old and says, "I love you, let's get married."
I don't understand it. No, I don't. My brother-in-law is one of those people, by the way. I don't get it.
So your brother-in-law just got married to somebody he met recently, like
Uh,
within the past 5 years,
in the past 2 years, my brother-in-law got married to someone he met in the past 5 years. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
and you just don't get it.
I don't. I don't.
Now, what's really going to blow your mind is if they start having kids.
Uh, if my brother-in-law starts having kids, I will be another shock. Um, just because the conversations have suggested that that's not on the agenda for either one of them.
Right, right. But
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 my brother-in-law wasn't even like, you know what? It's funny. My brother-in-law didn't even shock me as much as this other guy who announced on Facebook. I was like, what?
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like if you live this long single, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
But I bring up the kids because it's similar, right? If you've gone this long without a kid and then you go and have one, that's kind of interesting also.
Yeah. I mean, is it's the desire to live a normal life that intense that at 50, you're like, let me try that? I
But what
don't,
you're here to say is that, but what you're here to say is that's not so normal.
normal.
Once you get to 50 and you haven't been married yet, what you're saying is to be normal, don't get married.
I'm not saying to be normal. I'm saying it strikes me as weird. I don't know what the normal single 50-year-old does. I don't know a lot of them, but it just seems like a strange decision to make. Like, I'm going to throw in with you now. Like, I don't.
You know what's going to be really comeuppance for us when we find out that like 80% of our audience, our listening audience, is a bunch of 50-year-old people who just got married in the last year.
I know one of our audience members is like a 45-year-old who got married like 3 or 4 years ago, but that's a whole decade earlier. Like,
So that's okay. So
something of,
keep the hate mail from coming in because that's okay.
uh, there is a difference between 50 and even like 43, 44. Like, you 50, it was a moment. And I didn't even like go, oh my God, it's just like 50. Like, more than halfway done, most likely. Come on now.
Yeah, well, you would think so, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like, let's live our old years together. They're not that golden, dudes.
You know, maybe they just realize that their retirement savings isn't that good, and the only way it's going to get better is if they, you know, like it's like an merger and acquisition.
But
Like,
that's the people who've been going together for a long time. Like that makes sense. Like that's what I'm talking about. Like when you've been together for a long time, like, oh, yeah, yeah, you know what? We'll get some, oh, let's do that. But I've only known you like, I don't know. But you don't have an opinion on this. You think I'm just going down this hole on my own. You're gonna let me sink.
oh yeah, I'm not touching this one. You're offending people. I'm not touching. There's no way I'm touching this one, Obi. I
Okay.
think you just went in an area that I usually go, where you're offending people, and yeah, you're offending people clearly.
Okay. Well, to those people I've offended, I don't take it as take it as curiosity. Feel free to educate me on what I consider to be just outside the box thinking, I guess. I don't
This,
know.
this Obi, this is clearly your childless cat lady comment. It's clearly that's your moment right
Uh, oh, well. You know what? That comment sucked. The charm is that we suck. I'm Obi. That's it. Catch you next time on Drinking from the Garden.